has been challenging in sometimes. For example, COVID was awful because I was giving all of the bad news to everyone. I knew what COVID was happening, and I knew before everyone told us to shut down that we needed to shut down because every call, it transitioned from 1 to 2 calls per day, COVID, to every call, COVID. So that was very hard. That was very, very hard. Also, when not talking about COVID, but talking about other type of calls, for example, when it's mental health call, it's also quite hard because, for example, if you're asking an schizophrenic people, can you hear someone that is not here? Well, yes, they are. They are listening to my voice. I'm not there with them. It's hard. It's very hard and very rewarding. When you have a newborn, when you have a delivery, it's very rewarding. Well, I do specialize in all of those. I studied translation and I specialize myself in medical, legal, and finances. So I have a background that is supporting me. The difference with OPI, VRI is that you never know what you're going to get. The call comes and then you're in court. The call comes and then you're in the delivery room. The court. So what you have to do is you have to keep your mind working all of the time. Even watching TV series for legal or police series, doctors, all of that helps you because you're listening to that language all of the time. And then if you like to play with it, like me, I put subtitles in the other language and I listen to it in my language. So I can be working in both languages all of the time. And obviously you have to have your glossaries ready at hand. So if you have any questions, you go right there to it. And what could I suggest people to do to specialize? Study. Study. There are many, many courses out there that will help you. Maybe not as an interpreter, but if you take a small course in vocabulary for legal, well, that is going to help you a lot because you will understand and you will understand in which settings are used the words. So yes, I can suggest that. Well, because of all of that is happening after COVID, that everything went virtual, it's more accessible. You have courses, you can go to follow a course in Argentina, you can go to Paris, you can go to Mexico, and you don't have to actually travel. All the expenses that are entailed with going to a course, obviously, it's beautiful. You can go, if you can do it, because it's a wonderful experience. If you cannot, you can do it from home. And they are valid because of since everything changed since COVID, it's very helpful and it's easy for you to keep on studying and to have more specializations. Also, you can attend summits, webinars, there are congresses, interpretation and translation. You can go online. That's amazing. I think that is amazing. And also lately, I've noticed that many customers rather use remote interpretation even for their conferences or courses, which is fine, but you have to be very careful which company they are using, mostly because of the rates they share with you and the time for payment, the turnaround of payment. So just all of that has been happening since a couple years ago. Well, I am going to restrain myself. I keep it short. There are many things. For example, sign language. We didn't think about sign language before. Nowadays, it's kind of there on the scene. You can approach many communities that were kind of left behind because of language access. And I mean, even in my country. Also, indigenous languages are having a spotlight now. So you can have a spotlight on those languages. Now we have interpreters in many indigenous languages. That gives you access to small communities and even small communities that are in another countries. And you can help them, for example, to have access to better justice, better health systems, because you have interpretation. Also, it's great. It's great. Also, I am involved in several causes. The latest is they are doing something about bicycles. It's very interesting. But then the volunteers do not speak the other language. They need an interpreter. So I'm there, sometimes volunteering, sometimes not volunteering, sometimes, well, they do not have budgets to do it, but then sometimes I volunteer. So we have everything. There are many movements. There's the last interpretation I did in person as it was a Shushotash interpretation. It was for the founder of one of the movements in the world. In my country, they made the week of the movement, and he was the only one who didn't speak in Spanish. So they hired me. They made a big effort because they do not have the resources. They made a big effort to hire me. So we are everywhere. We can be everywhere. And I know nowadays, with the technology and with all of these apps that are around, interpretation is threatened. I do not believe so, because if you specialize, you're never going to be out of strength. You're not going to be like not needed, because you need the human factor to do a good interpretation. I would like to talk about the right language. What does that mean? It's not we speak in different registers. You don't speak the same way if you're talking in the supermarket or if you're going to court. That's one thing. The other thing is maybe my case is Spanish. I do English, French, Spanish. So many times I get patients that are not Spanish speakers, but the people that are taking care of them in the health system believe it's Spanish. So to have the right language for the people that you are interpreting for, I think that's going to be one of my strengths there.